New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg was in the audience in American University today when President Obama spoke about the need for immigration reform. The mayor is a longtime critic of Washington's failure to deal with this issue. And he joins me now to go one-on-one. Mr. Mayor, the president gave a speech today. He touched on many of the goals that you have spoken of in the past. The question, I guess, is he prepared to do more than give a big speech? Is he prepared to lean on the Congress to do something this year?
Well, I think he is. Whether he can get it done this year or not, it's time to start this dialogue. This country is really getting more and more in trouble every single day. We are keeping the people out of this country that we need to have a future. Other countries are soliciting these people to come and live in their countries and build businesses and invent new things, and we're educating them and then not letting them stay in this country. And this is something that both sides of the aisle in Congress and both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, the president and the Congress together have to work on. We had immigration reform back in 1986. Today we have, I don't know, 9, 10 million more undocumented here. It was a failure, that law. We cannot do that again. We've got to solve this problem and get the kind of people that we need in this country to create businesses and to have a future.
We talked in the very early days of the administration, and you said the honeymoon would be short and that he needed to use his capital and use it smartly and use it quickly. Did he wait too long on this issue, given the emotions?
Well, there's a lot of issues for the president to focus on, and he's got to make a decision as to into which order and what he thinks he can get done. The problem that the president has, every president has, is because of midterm elections, the president basically has a 2-year cycle. I know he has a 4-year cycle on his reelection, but in terms of pleasing the public, it's 2 years. And so you have to do things even quicker if you're the president for earlier in your term than if you're a governor with a 4-year term or a mayor with a 4-year term. He has focused on health care. He has focused on financial reform. In all fairness to the president, he came in with a terrible economy and a very fractured partisan Congress. But, you know, that's why they pay him the big bucks. He's supposed to be dealing with it. And I think you've got to give the president high marks for attempting some of these issues. And we'll see in retrospect whether he got it really done the right way or not. But you got to give him an A for trying.
You mentioned the midterm elections. This issue, and in fact, this specific conversation between you and me has a bit of a deja vu sense. I came to see you 4 years ago in a midterm election year. We rode the subway in Queens to talk about the immigration issue, and you said this when it comes to the question of does the Congress have the backbone to do this?
People saying in Congress that they're scratching their heads wondering what on earth you're talking about, because they're playing to a constituency back home of how it would sell and has nothing to do with what would make good long-term policy. The election year is not a good time to do this. The fact that it's a big issue now tells you, however, how big a problem it has become.
A big issue then. 4 years later, you have said it is a bigger issue and a bigger problem, but we're in an election year again. What does the president, specifically the president, as a CEO and as a mayor and a CEO of a city now, what does the president have to do to break this logjam and get them to do it?
Well, I think he has to explain to the public how government is really going to solve the problem so that we can't 5 or 10 years from now find ourselves in exactly the same situation. And it's not a partisan thing of one side of the aisle or the other. It's both sides. You have Democrats that don't want immigration. You have Republicans that don't want immigration. I met with Lindsey Graham this morning. He is pro-immigration. He understands this country. If we're going to have a future, if our economy is going to be good, we have to have a good immigration policy. He just needs to get some other people with him, and they've got to come to a compromise so that everybody gets the part of those 4 things I talked about that they care about done, whether it's controlling the borders, whether it's giving the technology to companies so that they can only hire people who legally they can hire, whether it's dealing with the 11 or 12 million undocumented that are here, or getting the visas that we need so that people don't invent elsewhere.
But you mentioned he needs other people. In the case of Senator Graham, he was very strong in a statement today saying, only if you do border security first, Mr. President. And Mr. Mayor, one of the other people he would need is John McCain. When we had that conversation 4 years ago, you said you were in touch with Senator Kennedy, who is now no longer with us, and with Senator McCain on this issue. Senator McCain back then was with President Bush. He was with Senator Kennedy. What happened to Senator McCain?
Well, you'll have to talk to the senator himself. John McCain understands the problems of this country. He's got a constituency in Arizona that he's got to work with. and I'm sympathetic to that. I think when push comes to shove, John McCain will work with other senators and with the president to better this country.
When I came up in 2006 and we rode the subway through Queens and we walked through the streets and you showed me the diversity of all the small businesses there, it was a wonderful visit, but I think my favorite moment came right near the beginning. I want you to listen.
The only one time somebody screamed at me, I was getting off the train, and as the doors closed, this big hulking guy was inside, looked out at me, and he glared at me, and he said, "Fix the Knicks." I thought to myself, I can do a lot of things that anyway.
Fix the Knicks was the
Come
criticism.
on, LeBron.
That's what I was wondering. What can the mayor do to get LeBron in New York?
Well, I don't know that I can do a lot. He's not called me and asked me. I can't tell him how to fix his jump shot. What I can tell him is New York's a great place to live and to work. David Stern, the commissioner of basketball, lives here. Although he'd say that all the teams are equal. We have not only the Knicks, we have the New Jersey Nets becoming the Brooklyn Nets. So I've got two teams, and I hope one of them winds up with LeBron. I said yesterday or the day before, you know, the great thing about New York is LeBron will be able to walk the streets and not be bothered by people, but he'll also have the power of being a star when he wants to do it. You can have both things in New York, and there are plenty of other cities that he can be successful in and enjoy. I just think that New York's better. Keep in mind, that's what I'm paid to do.
We'll watch how this one turns out, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for your time.
All the best.
Up next, today's most important person.